Welcome back to CyberDon. This is episode 4 of our 7-part series unpacking Saudi Arabia's Personal Data Protection Law, the PDPL. Today we're tackling a question many organizations get wrong: what makes data processing legal? Spoiler alert, it's not always about consent.
Hold on, I thought consent was everything. Isn't asking for permission the golden rule?
Consent is important, but it's just one of several lawful bases for processing personal data under PDPL. In fact, in some cases, asking for consent when it's not needed can actually create more risk. Under PDPL, personal data can be processed if at least one of these legal bases applies. First, consent, when the individual gives freely given, clear, and specific permission to process their data. Second, contractual necessity, when data is needed to fulfill an agreement, like delivering a service or product the user requested. Third, legal obligation, when the organization is required by law to process the data, for example, for tax or regulatory compliance. Fourth, vital interest, when processing is needed to protect someone's life or safety, like in a medical emergency. Fifth, public interest, when the processing is part of a task carried out by a public authority, such as law enforcement or public health. And lastly, legitimate interests, when the organization's needs are genuine and necessary, and they clearly outweigh any risk to the individual's privacy. But remember, even if one of these legal bases applies, you still need to be transparent, fair, and accountable.
So if I'm shipping a product someone bought, I don't need separate consent to use their address?
Exactly. That's a contractual necessity. But if you want to use their email later for marketing, now you need consent. The key is this: every processing activity must be tied to a clear, lawful purpose. No purpose, no legal basis, you don't process.
And what about sensitive data? Same rules?
Sensitive data needs more than just any legal basis. You need explicit consent, unless the processing is legally or medically necessary or for public health or judicial purposes. PDPL doesn't just ask, do you have consent? It asks, do you have the right legal reason? Is the individual protected? Is the purpose valid and limited?
So consent matters, but it's not a free pass or a checkbox.
Exactly. It's not just about asking. It's about asking for the right reason in the right way. In the next episode, we move from prevention to response and explore what to do when things go wrong. Data breaches. Stay safe.